Well, hi friends, this is Yana Benoon and welcome to my channel, Rise Up Children of God. I changed the name of a channel so we can include brothers in Christ. And I have today on my show Sister Edith Neumeier, who is an author. And I don't know, some of you will remember that last year we have met with Edith and we did a discussion on her book, Mystery of Adam. And she's recently in Germany. I got her here on Skype, and she just told me that her book is going to have a second edition. It's revised. It's going to be published before end of December, Edith?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so we hope to meet then and discuss her book again. You might remember she is a fighter for women's rights, especially in spirituality, as far as in Christianity. She has discovered through reading Bible in German a very interesting detail in Genesis. Can you, Iris, just briefly tell us what your book is about?
Focus on gender equality, and I have discovered that the first human being was Adam, was not a man, but he was male and female together. The German word for Adam, the Hebrew word Adam, is Mensch, and a Mensch can be both a male and a female. And the male and female did not come to existence until the woman was taken from the man. Mm-hmm. So the first human being was split in half.
Right.
Instead of just taking one rib, but the whole side was taken.
Well, and then when I read your book, I went to my husband and I told him to look into this in Hebrew. And he has confirmed it in Hebrew for me, and so I got really interested in your book. And when I found out you live in Germany, oh boy, that was like heaven for me. You were so close. So.
Well, actually, Edith her mother lives in Germany. She lives in the United States, but
yes, I need to correct myself. She does live in the United States, but she comes to Germany often. I mean, her homeland is Germany.
Yes, it is homeland.
Okay.
One thing, let me just say this about Edith on her discovery and speaking about the side, and this was something that, of course, I had already seen similar things that she's talking about from the Hebrew language, but the rabbis, a lot of the rabbis in Israel, and of course there's different groups that have different opinions, but when you mention about the side, there was the entire side, that is believed by many rabbis that it's not a rib. That is something that is debated amongst different rabbinical scholars, but there is a very strong Orthodox community that believes strongly that it was the entire side of Adam was taken down and woman was formed from that. And yes, as you say, it was one. They were one.
Mm-hmm. But today we are here for a different discussion. I just wanted you to get familiar with Edith Neumeier, an author. And we're going to discuss United States election. It's kind of informal discussion, and I had this private discussion with Edith the other day, and we are concerned about United States. Edith, are you a naturalized citizen?
Yes, I am. Actually, I have dual citizenship.
Oh, yes, the same thing as me. I am a naturalized citizen in the United States, and I have a dual citizenship here in Slovakia in European Union. So, but we were discussing elections, and I made some videos before because, as you know, elections right now are a comedies, and then it's just like a.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like a theater. It's a theater for us.
It's a reality TV.
Yeah. And I think it's on purpose. It's done on purpose to keep attention of American people away from really important things that are going on in the background. But what I was looking at from watching politics right now here from Eastern European point of view, I really believe we are so close to World War III. So for me, it was really important to, if we vote, to vote for a person who would make peace with Russia. I just look, okay, who has what opinions on Russia? Whoever wants peace with Russia, that's the person to vote for. And then, of course, we find out that Mr. Trump was like kind of back and forth. Mike Pence was speaking kind of against Russia now, but then Trump was saying that he doesn't agree with vice president, his would-be vice president on this issue and so on. But you have mentioned something to me about the elections. You have mentioned that you have a different proposal for American people. Can you tell us what's your proposal?
Well, my proposal is not to vote at all and just go to the streets and proclaim that we're just tired of not having a true choice. Because I do believe that both candidates are actually put up there by the same people. And now it's kind of hard to say who those people are because they're in hiding. But we know that our government is not truly the person that are making the decisions. There is some kind of, I don't know, group of people, a person, whatever it is, behind our government that makes all the choices. And for years now, that group of people has put up the candidates on both sides, whether it be Democrat or Republican. We can see that very clearly in that Obama continued exactly the same or pretty close to the same politic that what Bush did.
That's exactly right. I mean, if you think about it as well, many people already know. Those that know about the Illuminati and the terminology that is used there, and in the background we see this. You know, these are the elite, we would say, would probably be the better. The elite are the ones that control what goes on in the United States as well in different parts of the world. And even David Icke, when we were there, you know, I went there because I know David Icke is very much against the power structure of the world. He's against the religious side that controls the rest of it. And so I was interested in what he had to say. But it kind of threw me for a loop when he made the comment. He said, you know, well, they say, well, let's vote for the worser of two evils. But then he brings it back in perspective, like what you're saying, Edith. He says that they're both evil. And he said they're both controlled by the same puppet master. And so therefore, you're really not going to get any difference whatsoever. So even if Donald Trump became president, one thing that I noticed, he has surrounded himself with nothing but the people that are involved with the elite. Even though he's using religious figures in the background, he's very much being controlled by those. And as the old saying goes, it's not the president is not the true president, it's the vice president. So if we're already hearing from Pence, he's really going to be the guy that's answering in the background for what the elite want, and we're going to see that.
Well, what I want to add to that is that what surprised me in the election was when Bush have endorsed Hillary. And we know that Bush is Republican. He was a Republican president. Hillary is Democratic nominee. And Bush is endorsing a Democratic president. I mean, he is backstabbing Republican people, right? So you can't help but wonder in your mind, is this all a game? What is this all about? It's all about the agenda now. That now when we go back to Pence, when I watched, I took time and I watched the entire debate of Kaine and Pence. And I have to tell you that Pence came across a much better person to me than Kaine is. He was more humble, just kind of you can see it by their face expression and the way they speak, and he came across more godly, person with a better character. Kaine just flat out admitted he's a Jesuit. I mean, that was just flat out admission, and I could see in his mannerism, the way he spoke, there's something majorly wrong there. Pence.
Well, Cain is now back, Edith. You know, your book is about Adam, mankind. You know, and then we had Abel and Cain, and of course Cain's the murderer. So you should know more about this, Edith.
I know that was really I thought about that right away when I knew, oh, Cain is going to be the vice president. Yep, he's got the right name.
Yeah.
He's the Jesuit. Yep, okay, makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, Pence, you know, while Cain was saying he's a Jesuit, Pence was saying that he believes in Christ and he gave his life to Christ, and that was very attractive. So I made a video to tell people, well, just look at them too, and if you must vote, make your decision. But then I'm hearing, you know, what was disappointing was, considering situation we are in today, that Pence was saying that there must be action taken against Russia. And we are not going to go right now into much detail about politics. I'll make more videos later on that. But it is a very dangerous situation to be taking any actions about Russia, because this is going to bring us to World War III, and it might be nuclear, and millions of innocent people will die. So then we went, and this past Saturday, we were at a conference. David Icke was in Prague, and he had this long conference from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. and just a lot of information. And I know that most Christians are against David Icke because he's not Christian. He has some weird opinions or just ideas out there. Some people think it's weird, like hologram, like we live in a hologram. But after all, when I first met Chuck Missler, who's a well-known Christian and leader, and millions of people follow Chuck Missler, he was the very first Christian minister to come out and propose that we live in a hologram. And this is what I have first heard from him. And my head was spinning. I wasn't familiar with quantum physics, but he is a Christian, solid Christian, and he's speaking of hologram, or us living in a hologram. So some people just hate the idea of David Icke proposing that, but they forget that there's a lot of Christian people who believe this. You want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, I can really follow. Because I'm always listening to Chuck Missler, and I've known that from him long before that he is agreeing with that. And, you know, it's just scientific data that's coming out.
Right.
And I think if somebody wants to research more, listen to Chuck Missler would be a good thing to do.
Right.
You know, if they really question David because he is not a
Christian,
so-called born-again believer.
And you know,
however, David is still giving lots of information that is very valuable for us. I don't have to accept everything. He doesn't need to become my guru.
Right, exactly. That's my point exactly. David has done over 30 years of research into how Illuminati works and how this world works and government work. So it would be really bad on my part to just kind of reject everything he say just because he's not saying I'm a born-again Christian. It's kind of, you take the information, you take his research, and then sort it out based on your conscience and your relationship with Christ. I did notice that David Icke has the same answers for the evil as we do, as Christians do,
right.
Which at the very end of it, in a summary of it all, he's saying that the answers are in unconditional love. Well, Christianity is about unconditional love, isn't it? I mean, that's Jesus Christ is love, is that unconditional love. So all I was saying to myself, well, David, all you have to say now is Jesus Christ, and we're good, you know. So basically, after we talked, Edith and we talked right the day I came out of David Icke's conference, if I remember. But this is when I heard what he was saying about these elections. He was actually addressing this issue, and he said, many people say, "Oh, choose lesser of an evil," like which is Trump, right? In most cases of opinion, and he said, "But it's still evil." The bottom line is, it's still the evil you're choosing. You're not choosing righteousness. Yeah, we're choosing lesser of the evil, but it's still evil. And then he showed this picture of Republican president and Democratic president, and above was that one mysterious person controlling them all, both. Okay?
Right.
So that made me think a lot. And then we talked together, and you had this proposal, but also you said something. You said, "I wish that Trump wins." You told me that. You said, "I wish Trump wins." Why did you say that?
Well, I believe that the American Christians really need to wake up. We have been just brainwashed to believe that we need to vote. It's our duty to vote. I believe I vote when I don't vote. That's a vote too. I have a choice as a Christian to make. And I have to choose what's right according to God's plan. And sometimes I cannot choose the two things that are in front of me because they're both evil. And then I have to choose not to vote. For me, that's a choice too, and it's very, very important. So I believe that people need to learn that heroes are not our saviors. We cannot go with Trump right now and say, "Oh, he is going to rescue us from everything." The only person that rescues us is Jesus Christ. But the American people have to learn that first. They still think they need a savior or a human rescuer from their evil. And that's not going to happen. I think we're going to be destroyed before people realize that they have to go with Jesus instead of a human leader.
Well,
I mean, Americans have this hero mentality. We need a hero to rescue us.
Superman.
Superman. And now everybody thinks, "Oh, Trump is our Superman." And he ain't going to be the Superman. But American people have to learn that they cannot trust human government.
Well, and you told me, though, that you wish he wins. You said, I hope he wins. So elaborate.
Well, we only have two choices, and that is Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
Okay.
I definitely don't want Hillary to win, even though it doesn't really matter. I want people to see that Donald Trump was not the right choice either.
Okay. So you basically told me you hope he wins because that way American people might wake up that it didn't make any difference.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, it would be the same thing as when we had Barack Obama. I mean, the people, and not just the black people. The white people cannot blame it on the black people and say, "Well, you voted him in, and this is why we got the evil in." Everybody that voted for Barack Obama was a choice for change that never changed. And
Exactly.
this is what people are totally not realizing. And one thing, I want to just step back one moment when you guys were talking about David Icke and how that, and I needed to go back to this just for a second on David Icke because of the fact that the Christian community so often, as Liana got a lot of different emails about him. I didn't. I got one from a very good sister, and I know she meant well by it. And when she was trying to warn me that he's not a Christian, but I did write the precious sister back, and I told her, I said, "Sister, you have to understand. I'm a journalist as well as a believer of Yeshua, and I speak on both points." I said, and the thing is when I interview people of all walks of life, and nobody ever thinks about it because it's not David Icke, David Roll, for example. I know David. We're friends. David is an archaeologist, an Egyptologist. He's very well known, been in all kinds of documentaries. But David is an agnostic when it comes down to it. I really do believe that David believes in God, but he doesn't believe in God the way that people perceive him in the way he speaks about it. But no one ever says anything about it because he's an Egyptologist and he proved the Bible to be right. But there's many others. I've interviewed politicians, I've interviewed people from the British politician world, etc. All different types of people with all different types of backgrounds. Even people we meet on this street, or rabbis in Israel that believe in Kabbalah, which most Christians would consider that to be witchcraft. The point is it doesn't change who you are and who you interview or who you want to see what their perspective is. It helps you to understand the different thoughts that people have from different points of view, and then you have to sort that out yourself.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that.
And as we move on in these election chats, I want to say for myself, I was back and forth on this issue of voting. And I'll tell you, I have never voted in my life. Never one time. I'm not even registered voter. But the reason I didn't vote before is that I was in a watchtower cult. And of course, the Yeshua saved me from this. And that was the reason for me not voting, because Jehovah's Witnesses have this idea that we shouldn't meddle in politics or mix in politics. Of course, it doesn't matter that the leaders were part of United Nations as an NGO, and we didn't know that. On the bottom of the pyramid, this slavery there in that religion, they don't know anything, okay? So now that I did my research, I understand better what this organization is all about. And of course, Yeshua came to me and saved me. I had this wonderful experience with Christ, and I'm out of there, and I can help people who are still stuck in that organization because I know their fibers and I know how they work and I know everything. So if you struggle out there with the doctrines of Watchtower and you don't know what to do, you can contact me. I can help you out with that. But my point was that, where was I? What was I saying? Sorry, I just kind of forgot.
You went on you was talking about voting and why.
Yeah, okay.
You never
why?
voted.
Okay, yes. Why? And then when Trump came on as a nominee, I was like, when I listened to him, some of his things that I do agree with, I was asking my husband to help me register as a voter because I'm going to give my vote. For the first time, I was actually very excited to do that, right? And then I listened to David. I did my own research. And then this leak came. Then leak came. Yeah. Did you hear about how he behaved, his words, what he said?
The leak that Donald Trump had there about what he said about women when he was coming off of this bus back in 2005.
Yeah, I kind of heard it. I mean, the negatives things he can grab their pussy, something like that.
Yes.
Thing, if you're in lead or if you're in leadership or something. Or
when you're famous, that's what he said. When you're famous, you can do this and nobody cares.
Exactly, that's what he said. Yep.
Yeah, it's terrible.
What can I say about that? I mean, a lot of men talk like that. Look how what Bill Clinton did with Lewinsky. Mm-hmm. I mean,
many others.
That wonderful, and Hillary Clinton supported it. We don't know what all these guys talk behind our back. I mean, it's nasty.
Yes.
Especially with the politics, the money on top, all the stuff that's going on. We have absolutely no idea. And I'm telling you, it's not just grabbing little pussies of women, but pussies of children.
Yes.
And that, for me, is even worse. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of stuff going on. We cannot just think that these people are saints up there. Mm-hmm. They're not.
Well, for me, that's when I heard, because my son came up and let me hear the whole thing. He was, Mom, listen to this. You fight for women, so what do you think? And my son is 12, and I didn't like him hearing that. But today kids have internet. You can't prevent it.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, go ahead.
I mean, again, that is one thing I think Americans do a lot is they hide these sexual things, but behind the scene, what's going on is pretty ugly. And then something like this comes out and we are all like, oh my goodness, what is going on? But behind the scene, it's going on. And we have absolutely no idea that it's going on. And so we're shocked.
Yes. Now, you see, that was a leak, I believe, by Bush. Bush administration leaked this because there's so many leaks and evil put out on Hillary, which, she's complete impersonation of evil to me. She's just definitely an elitist puppet, Illuminati puppet, and she's heading very wrong direction, and she's a perpetual liar. But
Well, that's true.
yes, but the thing is, when I heard out of the mouth of Trump these things, and some of, oh, well, that's old, it's 11 years old. Well, 11 years ago, he was a 59-year-old man, okay? So do you really want in office somebody who at age of 59 can still spew things like this out of his mouth? Am I to really trust that man? Where did we come to? What are our choices? And as you say, we come to the fact that there is no choice. There is no choice, and that's the sad reality of this whole thing.
Let me just, I want to say one thing on that when we talk about there is no choice. I'm a registered voter. I've been a registered voter probably since close to my early 20s. And I do believe there is a choice. And I made that choice. I voted one time. And when I voted for Jesus Christ. And I have to say this because I think it's important. When Mike Pence stated, first we see the Jesuit side, and the heroes for Mr. Kane were Jesuits, and then the world went into an uproar because Mike Pence said, I've accepted Christ, and so, then everybody went into uproar about that. But you have to understand, to me, it did not impress me. And my son, it made him feel good because he felt like, in fact, when he told me, he's accepted Jesus Christ. But then I went back and listened to it. And the one thing I pointed out to Ethan was, I said, son, notice, he never said Jesus Christ. He only said Christ. I said, Christ is the word anointed. I said, there's many false anointed ones out there. I said, and until you're man enough to say in a public arena that Jesus Christ is your Savior, I said, then I'm not impressed with it. I said, now let him step in Putin's shoes. I said, at least he's had the courage to say it.
Yeah, but Putin is just another side of the beast. That's what I mean, Putin...
There's still an evil there.
Yeah.
I agree. It doesn't make Putin some saint.
What I mean
is
about...
he's got more courage.
Yeah, I mean, we probably won't have time to go deeply into this, but when it comes to this World War III, Putin is not at fault. I mean, zero. He's not at fault. Putin has done lots of evil to his own people. He's done also lots of good. Putin made mistakes. But he's not at fault with the World War III, and it's definitely United States government, not the people, the government agenda.
He can back down, and he can allow the United States to murder the rest of the people in Syria, or he can make a stand. And I mean, when it comes down to it, we have to remember too that when Jesus was here, Yeshua, he clearly stated that. When Satan takes him up, shows him all the kingdoms of the world, all the past and the future, and he said, these are all mine, and I do with them what I want. And he says, and I'll give them all to you if you bow down and worship me. And Jesus refused to do it because he knew that it comes with a price, and he has to buy it in order to get the kingdom back the way it should be. And so he bought that. He refused to accept it. But that tells us that even today, as good as different leaders, whether they be women or men, like Golda Meir, to me was a fabulous leader, but still, it's still politics, and it was still controlled by the Rothschilds and the Illuminati of Israel. I mean, I have to face the facts. Even though I am Jewish by birth, it's still our government has been controlled by the same system that the United States is controlled by the European Union controlled by, has been controlling Israel from the entire time. But it doesn't mean that the people that went there were not genuine, just like the Americans or the Germans or the European people, the French, whatever they may be. They're still good people, but it's an evil, a demonic system at the top.
Right, but when we are staying with this election, Chairman, trying to stay on a subject, but
I'm not good at that.
even you were kind of swayed toward Trump. I
Yes,
mean, you said it
yes.
many times on your
Yes.
news. That's because we are watching what these politicians are
Looking
saying,
for the peacemaker with Russia.
and all we want is someone to deter this war. We don't want nuclear war. Okay, so if I have a politician telling me he's going to make a peace with Russia, I want to support it. But then, you are even suggesting, well, will it even happen? And then I'm hearing Pence speak against Russia and kind of like, yeah, we got to go after Russians. Well, that opened my eyes big. Even though Trump is saying now that he doesn't agree with his would-be vice president, can I trust Trump? So
Yeah, and that's what I really know about Trump is that you can't trust him. He just says whatever he thinks people want to hear. Mm-hmm. Okay, he may say yes, I'm in with Putin, but at the end, you don't know if he's going to do it. Because he has a history of just saying what kind of comes across to people. That's how he gets his votes, to support the belief of the people. And I think that is just very typical for Trump, that people have to know.
okay.
I don't trust him. I mean, people say that he's not a politician, because politicians lie and, they tell you something, and then when the election's over, they'll do whatever they want. But Trump is the same way. He will not be any different. Number one, because he's controlled by another group of people above him. So whatever he says now may not be the same thing he's going to be doing.
Edith, that when you say about the group that's above them, and I do not recall where I actually heard this at, but this, it was something to do when they're talking about aliens and things like this. And I was listening to someone talk about, it was a friend of the Clinton, I know this much, it was a friend of the Clintons to begin with. And this lady she was allowed to come there to the White House quite frequently with the family, spent time with them. And one day she asked, Bill and Hillary, they're together at the White House, and she asked about aliens. She says,
Oh, yeah.
with you being the president, you should know. And she quoted Bill Clinton, and I'll have to use abbreviation because it's very nasty what he says, but he goes like this. He says, I'm the president of the United States, and they don't tell me a G thing. I don't even want to say the other letter, But that tells you, him even as the President of the United States, and yet he doesn't know anything, okay, except what they want him to know. So, in your point, Edith, as far as you're not making a vote, is a vote as well, showing the government that we're not going to accept what they're doing. It's true, because it doesn't matter who becomes president, he's only going to get to do what they want him to do. And that's why there is no change.
And you know what? Another thing, Stephen and Yana, I believe there's nothing we can do about voting, because the person they want will win anyways.
Even Trump said he believes they would rig the election.
Now, me.
Well,
yeah.
And he again says a teeny little truth, but not the whole truth.
Yes.
They will rig the election, but again, they can pick either one because it doesn't matter. You look what happened with Sanders. He clearly had the major votes for the Democratic, for the Democrats. And who got it? Hillary.
Right.
Okay? They have done this for a long time without us knowing it. And they will do it again. They will do it again. The person that will win is the one they want.
Right.
Whether you pick for that person or not.
So, the bottom line to wrap this chat up is that there is not much we can do. However, I really believe that there is power in the people still. And that power wouldn't be in voting, maybe, for the lesser evil, as people say. But if we don't vote, I believe we should leave everything we are doing. Everything we are doing. Leave the TV, leave even work. And we should go to streets with signs and peacefully, not with guns. And I'm saying that. Don't go with guns because then you are like them. I mean, it doesn't work. Go peacefully with the signs and say, you know, we know that we've been invaded. We know about you. We will not be your puppets. You don't have us. We want peace with Russia. We are disagreeing with Syrian war. Okay? Because, you know, right now people don't understand we are having major crisis. We are this close to the nuclear war, people. This is very, very serious. And I didn't want to talk about this on that chat. It was supposed to be just about elections and all that. But we are so close to the nuclear war. And if people don't let the Illuminati cabal know that we know and we disagree and we won't obey them. Like, for example, don't send your boys to be in military, your boys and girls. You're sending them for the agenda of Illuminati. I mean, every single American boy and girl that died in Iraq died for the wrong reasons. Not for American patriotism. Don't send them. Refuse to go to military unless we are there to protect the country. I agree with protecting the country, but they are not protecting the country.
No. Imperialistic is what they've become.
This is the thing. We got to wake up. Even, you know, taxes, we pay taxes. I just send them money that I owe taxes. I have no choice. Why? Because majority of people are still living in fear from the cabal. Okay? But our taxes, guys, are going toward financing terrorists. They're financing and paying salaries to ISIS. Yeah. They're chopping off children's heads. Okay? So what did they make us as people? What did they make us? By extension. They're taking our money, they're forcing us to pay taxes that they use for evil purposes. It doesn't go to make our hospitals better in the United States, our roads better. That's not where it goes. There is never enough money for that. But they're financing those evil wars. So as long as we, the people, don't wake up that we have been invaded, the United States of America is invaded by a very evil cabal, we will never change anything, and they will just play this game until they destroy us all. So my mission is here now. You know, I usually, as I said on my previous videos, I didn't like politics, but I have no choice now. I have to give my voice because this is about the lives of my children. And me as a mother, I want my children to see them grow up. And what's happening right now and how close we are to this war, guys, we have got to collectively do something to stop it. Okay, well, I just went on a rant there about this because that, it's taking my sleep away because of how fast we are going toward that nuclear war.
Yeah.
So, but okay, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you for watching our chat with Edith Neumeier. I'm looking forward to your second book. I mean, it's the same book, but a revision of it, second edition of it, right? Okay. So I hope to get it when it comes out, and then maybe next time you're in Germany, we meet up and we can talk more about that book.
That'd be great. Yes.
And one thing too, let me just say in closing, when Edith talks about Adam being mankind in the beginning. When Yana has the talk with Edith again in the future, those of you that automatically think, well, that's great, but we already know Paul says, that a woman is to remain silent and all these issues there. We do have a section on Israeli News Live, if you look in the YouTube channel there, and it's on women. A lot of those issues are addressed there, and no doubt Edith and Yana will discuss those issues together on the New Testament as well to bring it into a balance, to know that you were never intended by God to be subservient to a man. He's not your slave master. He is your partner. And if you are one humanity, then as Jesus says, or Paul I believe says, did any man ever hate his own flesh? Then how could you treat your wife than anything other than yourself?
Okay, well, thank you guys, and talk to you soon. Stay tuned to my channel. I want to bring out something about Hillary Clinton. I was thinking of making a video to bring to your attention something she has done years ago that nobody's really talking about. There was this group in Russia called Pussy Riot, and I just want to bring this back up from the years ago, and Hillary supported that group, and so please stay tuned to my channel, as this will be my next video is going to be about that. Okay, well, have a good day.
Thank you, Edith.